All right, welcome
Oh, we need to
to
plug this
tonight's
computer in.
Patreon campaign game for Castle Entertainment. I'm Carlos A.S. Leising, lead game designer and owner of Castle Entertainment. Who you see on your on the right hand side of the screen, going down the list, are our players. At the top of the screen, we have Jeremy Brazil, going to be playing Rainbar the Wildlight. Going down one, we're going to have David Aho. David's going to be playing Arion. And going down one, we're going to have Matthew Lazinski, who's going to be playing Brixton. Unseen right now is Jeremy's brother, Patrick. Patrick is going to be playing Agrias, the Tenebrous Hand. And he is so tenebrous right now, you can't even see him. Okay. So, for some reason, I'm still offline right now. I have no idea what it is. Hold on for just a second, fellas. Let me figure out why we're offline here. Can you see me on the Twitch screen at all, Jeremy?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, yeah, now I do.
Okay, good. Okay, awesome. And who just came onto the screen right now is Patrick Hope, and Patrick is going to be playing Agrias the Tenebrous Hand. Pat, before we get started tonight, I want to take care of some preliminary business. Tonight is Patrick's birthday, or well, it's going to be Patrick's birthday really soon. And as a result of that, I wanted to give Patrick a birthday present here online. Patrick, this is for you right here, buddy. That's a greater rook roll. Having that in hand right now entitles you to choose the result of any single one of your dice rolls thrown in a Castle Entertainment game. Use it well. What that means, Patrick, is that anytime you roll the dice, if you don't like it one time, you can change the die roll to whatever result you wish. Okay? That means if you want to roll a 20, you can roll a 20. If you want to roll a 1, you can roll a 1. So if you roll damage dice, you can make it maximum, minimum, whatever you wish. So that's your birthday present from me for being a really good friend and an ardent supporter of Castle Entertainment. So thank you very much, my friend.
Thanks, Carlos. Appreciate it, brother.
No problem, my man. Birthday presents are coming for everybody else if I know the dates for the rest of you guys. So
I gotta wait a year.
I know.
I feel like maybe Patrick and I were born on the same day.
Say lucky. Well, nah, I know that's not true. So, all right, boys, we're gonna begin tonight's game. As you guys may remember from our last adventure, you had found out you'd left the city of Radickill in a caravan, going to the village of Caverick's Cove. Caverick's Cove is well known throughout the land as being a place to hire mercenaries. But as you found out on your way down to Caverick's Cove, there was a plot that was hatched by some of the guards to hijack the caravan, which you guys put an end to. And in the summation of everything that happened, you were able to commandeer the caravan and found out that there was a bunch of timber that was on board. It was going to be sold to a group called Procan's Eye that was working out of Caverick's Cove. You traveled through the forest to the village of Caverick's Cove, and when you emerged on the other side, you began to roll in through its west gate. That's where we're going to pick up tonight. All right. So, giving you guys an idea of what Caverick's Cove is like. The village of Caverick's Cove is built primarily in a circle, a big, large circle. As you can see right over there, Caverick's Cove has a north gate, an east gate, a south gate, and a west gate. The east gate leads to the sea. As you can see on the map that I just shared with you, the west gate's where you came from, which is kind of bleeding northwest into the city, into the village, I should say. The village is surrounded by a lot of farms, a lot of pastoral land, looks like good, clean, arable land, and a lot of forestry. Now, the wall that surrounds Caverick's Cove was never meant to keep people out, per se. It looks like it was mostly decorative. It's a low wall about 3 feet high, made of rocks quarried from the local area that have been held together by mortar and and plaster. It looks like it's aging. Doesn't look like it would stand up very well if it was to be attacked from the outside. But it is surrounded at several points, as you can see on the map, by towers. The towers are 30 feet tall, also made of stone. However, these stone towers are also just as much in disrepair as the remainder of the wall. You don't see anybody. To give you an idea of the village of Caverick's Cove, it probably doesn't have more than 1,000 people in it, and probably significantly less than that. And you can tell that because none of the towers, none of the gates are manned. As you guys begin to come into the city, I mentioned before in last week's game, or 2 weeks ago's game, that your group was being followed by children and stuff like that were interested in you. I mean, you can tell that these people don't see newcomers every day, and they were following your, kind of running behind your caravan and asking you questions and whatever, and they would just bleed off whenever they got tired of running beside you. Finally, you go through the gates of the village, and now I'm going to leave the game up to you guys at this point. Is there anything you would like to do immediately, or are you going to ahead of you? What you can see is several down the road or the path, which is actually hardened earth, not paved. Heading down directly ahead of you on either side, there are buildings, small wooden plaster affairs. Uh, it seems like the entire culture of the village revolves around its center. Would you like to do anything before you guys arrive at its center?
I think we should get possibly find this Procan's eye and try to figure out where they are so we can get maybe make some money off of this wood. And if they, I don't know if we need um the three carts or caravan pieces and everything, but maybe we could sell them, maybe keep a horse fur or something, or at least something to carry something with.
David, in addition to what you just said, the horses that are drawing these are draft horses. They're not
Okay,
really meant for riding; they're meant for pulling. But you could,
that's
in
sort
a
of what I
pinch,
think.
ride them.
Okay,
Okay.
So
Anybody?
we're gonna head into the center of town then, it sounds like, and
Okay.
look for Procan's eye.
So you guys begin to
right.
conduct the caravan through the center of town. But at this point in time, David, you were a little bit rusty when you started to conduct the caravan, as you remember from your die roll. But you've slowly begun to warm to the task, having done it over now about a day. You feel pretty comfortable riding it. As you guys begin to go through the town, a lot of the villagers are looking out of doors and windows at you. They just kind of look curious. They don't look scared per se, largely because David's hood is up. But
You guys do the talking for me, at least
David,
for the
David,
time
I
being.
would presume at this point, given the reaction that you've had from people in this area, you're going to keep your hood up at all times, unless I'm otherwise told.
Pretty much.
Okay, good.
I'm a happy going guy, but they don't really know that yet.
No, they don't know that yet. Everybody judges on appearances at first. So you guys begin to go through the center of the city, and the center of the village. On your right hand side of the road, there's a big gazebo, big wooden gazebo, whitewashed. And now you start to begin to see stone buildings. You go past one building on the left hand side that has a sign hanging outside of it with a log and a saw cutting through it. And it's actually a stone building. Above it, it says Timber Benders. As you conduct the horses a little bit further, on the left-hand side of the road, there's another stone building. It's the biggest one you've seen yet in Caverick's Cove, and sign in elegant gold script on the sign out above the door reads "Sun Showers Sundries." At that point in time, you've reached the center of the village, and the intersection becomes a crossroad. There's a crossroads ahead of you. To your left-hand side ahead of you, there is a large stone building. It's kind of L-shaped, and the sign out front of it reads "The Blushing Nereid," and it has a picture of a mermaid in front of it, kind of covering her face like she's made a faux pas. And on the right-hand side of the street, there's a very, very large building like a manor, and it doesn't have a sign out in front. At the intersection, there's two carts there, and there's two young girls that are standing there watching you. They look like they're selling flowers and apples out of them. There's a man that's standing right next to him. He's tall. He's probably about maybe 6'2", kind of thin. You see a crossbow hanging from his hip. He's got a very large handlebar mustache. He's got leather armor on. He kind of just regards you guys. Starts approaching the caravan as you guys get to the intersection.
Yeah, I would like to maybe ask him for directions for where we're going. I mean, we could go to the lumber vendors on our own, but maybe we're looking for the eye.
The guy comes walking up to you, and he has a very easy, kind of calm way about him. It's the way that somebody walks when they're very comfortable in their own skin. Around you, by the way, you guys had left the forest at sunrise. It's about maybe 10 o'clock right now in the morning. It looks like there's a hint of rain in the air. You can sense the kind of an impending storm, maybe. The scent in the air is full of the flowers and the apples from the cart, so it's very pleasant smelling. Air is very clean, with a hint of salt in the air. The gentleman walks up to you. Well met, strangers. Welcome to Caverick's Cove. Kind of comes up, stands over next to David's part of the caravan. Welcome to town. What can I do for you guys?
Else is he sort of at me and say, "We're looking for Procan's eye, possibly to get this lumber."
You're here to see Procan's eye. He looks over his shoulder and points to the west, or to the east, I should say. The way that the village is built, from where you're sitting, it's kind of a rise going down a little bit. Ahead of you is a wide open vista of the ocean. Past the lighthouse that I mentioned that was at the very front of the village last week, past the walls, you can see the coastline. You can see an immense amount of ocean, wild and free ocean. Because that's all I know about Procan's eye, friend. Looks like you've got
Okay.
some goods in here. Smiles, says, I should introduce myself. My name's Tanner Lucan. He offers his hand up to you, David.
Well, I shake his hand and still a little bit, unfortunately, his dark hand, but
He looks at your hand. He kind of looks at it for a second, but doesn't say anything. Because I'm the sheriff here at Caverick's Cove. He goes,
oh, okay.
says, I just wanted to have a chance to greet you. The word travels fast in a small community like this. Make sure that see what you guys are up to.
Well, we're trying to get this lumber to Procan's eye.
Lumber.
Yes.
Oh. I don't know anything about Procan's eye, but you're probably looking for the Everins, aren't you? Name ring a bell?
No, we don't. What?
Let me see if I can sort this out for you. If you're here to deliver lumber, there's only one person I know in here. There's two folks that buy lumber in town. One of them you just passed up there. That's the Timberbenders. That's the Sparrowhawk family. But that's a little too much lumber for them. I suspect you're here for the Everins. They're strangers out of Marner. They're staying at the inn tonight.
Okay.
That sounds right.
All right.
He goes, well, if you take a left here, he points at the intersection. He goes past the Nereid over here on the right-hand side. You'll see our inn. That's a Chuckling Centaur. He goes, why don't you go in there and ask for Melindra and ask her to see the Everins. I think that's who you're here to see.
Melindra?
Yeah, Melindra.
Okay, thank you.
You're not mercenary folk by any chance, are you?
Depends on what you need. I'm looking to.
I'll take that as a yes. He nods and smiles. Well, listen, if you're here for murder, the reason I say that is because most people that come here are doing one of two things. You're either a traitor or you're a merc. You're here for mercenary work. He goes, you want to see Corvus over at the Mercenary Guild. Same direction as the Chuckling Centaur. He'll be on the building just directly opposite the Chuckling Centaur.
All right, thank you.
From what I understand, there's some interesting jobs up right now, but I don't dabble in that kind of work, so it's hard for me to say. You'd be the better judge
All right.
of that.
Sounds good.
Well, just so I can say I told you, because we have a very quiet village here. We don't really have too much trouble, so do your best to stay out of it, and everything will be fine. The only
No
time I can
problem
tell
there.
you that people, pardon me.
No problem there.
Yeah, no, I don't anticipate there will be. He goes, you seem like good enough folks. He says, but one thing I do want to mention is that mercenaries have a tendency to be rowdy. And if you happen to be staying at the mercenary hall, maybe I should take a step back. He goes, Corvus and one of our more wealthy residents, we operate a mercenary hall. It's basically an inn where mercenaries can stay until they find a job.
All
You
right.
staying at the mercenary hall, remember that there's going to be a lot of people there competing for jobs with you. That's where we tend to see the most trouble. So just keep your head down. If you have any problems with anybody, you talk to me and I'll sort it out so you guys don't get in any trouble, all right?
All right. You're located right here then, I'm
Yeah,
guessing?
yeah. If you go straight up the road just a little bit here on the right-hand side, you'll see my office.
All right. Sounds good.
Feel free to
Thank
drop by
you.
if you need anything. If you want a tour around town, I can have my deputy take you. But I think Corvus will probably be the one you want to talk to for that, since he'll be
All
hiring you
right.
probably.
All right. So Melindra for the lumber and Corvus for some jobs or whatever.
At this point in time, Jeremy and Patrick, um, the young girls that were over at the carts have walked over to your cart. And one of them looks up at Agrias and she's got a bushel full of apples. Apple for you, Sarah? She nods. Flowers, maybe?
I'll take a flower.
She hands you a flower. She goes, no charge, no charge. She turns around and walks over back to her friend. It's all lily. Looks like a water lily of some kind. So, okay, what do you guys want to do now?
Let's go get the money for this lumber.
Okay.
Yeah, and get
Yeah.
So David follows the directions that the sheriff gave him. The sheriff kind of takes a step back over to where the sundries store was, which is across the street from you. He just kind of watches your carts as you guys go by. Looks like he's taking a peek in the windows a little bit as you guys go by. Looks like a guy just kind of doing his job. You guys go
sounds good.
further down the way, and on the left hand side of the street, just as he said, there's a big stone building. Out in front of it, it says Caverick's Cove Mercenary Guild, established 500 CY. Across the street from there is a very large but kind of low stone building. Out in front of it, it says the Chuckling Centaur Inn. There's a picture on the sign of a centaur that's kind of like rolling on her. It's a female centaur. She's rolling on her side, like laughing. You can see attached to the building there are several stables. Lots of horses in there. Some people are coming and going out of the building. Are you guys going to hitch up are you guys going to hitch up, or you guys want to try and check in your carriages and horses?
Well, is this where we can get the lumber taken care of then too, or no?
This is the way. This is where the sheriff said that you could.
Okay, okay, okay. I was under the okay.
So you can do one of two things at this point. You can either hitch up the horses right there at the bar that's right in front of the building, or you can actually go to the stables and try and check in. What would you like to do?
Let's just hitch up the horses right where we are.
Okay,
Right.
guys, hitch up the horses. Is anybody going to stay with the caravan, or are you guys going to all go inside?
I'll
Somebody's
stay
gonna stay.
with the care. I gotta somewhat calm Tobias a little bit too every once in a while.
Okay,
Don't want him getting all
so
riled up.
you and Tobias are going to stay outside?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, is everyone else going to go in?
Yeah.
All three
Yeah.
of you guys get out of the caravan. You go into the building. As soon as you open up the door, it kind of rings with a bell. On the left-hand side of the wall, it's a very large expanse of a room. It's kind of L-shaped. There are tables inside of there, chairs everywhere. The left-hand side of the wall is nothing but a bar. Okay, and behind it's a low bar though. It's only maybe like 2 foot tall, and there are three gnomes that are working busily behind it. There's a person that's sitting in a chair, and because of the stool height, they hang very high over it, but they're at a part of the bar that rises up a little bit. It looks like there's a stairway behind the bar that they can walk back and forth to serve human customers. And at the rear of the room, there is a door leading to something that may be possibly a kitchen or something. On the right-hand side of the wall, there's another door. As soon as you open the door, um, kind of a matronly looking, maybe 60-year-old gnomish woman waves at you. Says, "Welcome to Chuckling Centaur. Can I help you?"
Go ahead.
She has no
We're
idea
doing-
she's dealing with three stone cold killers.
we're trying to sell the lumber.
We're looking for the Everglens.
Let the little one talk.
Oh, the Everins. Oh yeah. They're in room 3. Would you like me to summon them?
Please.
Okay. She nods. She looks over at you. She says, kind of looks you up and down a little bit. She says, "You're not from Braddock, are you?"
You are wise.
She looks at the gnome. She goes, "No." She goes, I don't think he belongs to any of the clans I know." She goes,
No.
Vester. One of the gnomes comes over here. She looks at him. "Go get the Everins. Tell them they have guests." He leaves. She looks over at the gnome. She goes, "Well, for an out of towner," she goes, "and for his friends, would you like a complimentary drink on the house?"
Sure would.
What's your pleasure? We have ale, we have mead, we have wine, we have beer, we have a brandy.
I'll take a brandy.
Excellent choice.
Please.
He smiles. He goes, "It's all of it is brewed over at the Blushing Nereid. They have a very good reputation in the area for their brewery. And what about for you two?
How about mead?
Mead? And you, sir?"
Nothing.
Okay. So she goes back and she starts working at the taps. About maybe 2 minutes later, she presents all three of you, or two of you, with a mug. Pushes you a brandy. It's like in a little snifter. And for you, Jeremy, she pushes a oaken mug out. "Here you go." She goes, "On the house. Welcome to Caverick's Cove," she says.
Thank you kindly.
Appreciate it.
The brandy is pretty strong, but it tastes of blueberry and kind of like some kind of a flower. And it's actually really, really good. The mead, likewise, has got a very, very profound honey taste to it, and it's quite good as well. As you guys are drinking, coming back from the door that's on the west side of the room, or I should say on the right side of the room, you see that the gnome that she sent off before come back with a tall human woman. She's probably about 28 years old. She's got red hair, kind of pale skin, a little bit dappling of freckles. Comes over, walks. The gnome kind of whispers up to her, points at you guys, and she nods. She goes walking over. She says, "Oh, I hear I've got guests." She walks over. Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, you have a delivery.
Oh, good. You're the people from Radical. She points out her hand. "Shauna Everin. It's a pleasure to meet you."
Rainmar.
Rainmar.
Grace.
Grias. Oh, Grias. And you are?
Brixton Beholdersbane.
Whew, quite a name. You see the girl, the Melinda behind the bar trying to place the name. You can see her kind of thinking to herself, "I don't think I know that one." She says,
Rainmar pulls out his knife, thinks about killing the gnome, and instead stabs himself. And it's a 20.
Is this the time for the greater rook roll to come out?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way,
Little brother.
by the way, Patrick, there's a wrinkle in your rook roll. You can use it for anybody's die roll. For example, let's say Matthew was being attacked by a beholder and failed a saving throw. You could use your greater rook roll to make his saving throw a 20. So it doesn't have to be a roll you actually make. It's just in
That's the difference, and that's the difference between a rook roll and a greater rook roll.
Yes, well, actually, also the primary difference is the greater rook roll allows you to choose the number that you pick. A normal rook roll just allows you to re-roll.
That's right. Okay, that's
So
right.
anyway, you guys are inside the building, and Shauna introduces herself to you. She goes, "Why don't you follow me back to the room? I'll introduce you to my father, and we'll settle up for your payment."
Beautiful.
So you guys came from Radical, huh?
We did.
Starts leading you guys back the way she came. What was the trip like? Was it? I hear there's a lot of bandits along the way. Did you see anything?
There was a lot of bandits along the way, but we managed to avoid trouble for the most part.
Oh, she nods. She goes, "That's good. That's good." So you didn't lose any of the timber, did you? Everything you've got 2 loads, right?
Yep.
Excellent, excellent. So she leads you back to this room. She goes out over on the right. She knocks on the door twice. She goes, "Father." She goes, "The timbermen are here." You hear him. Oh, you're inside grumbling. Door opens up. Man, kind of standing there. He's dressed in kind of finery. Looks like he's got a military garb on a little bit. Think you see a rank of a colonel on him. He's missing his left leg, which is on a peg. Got a big gray beard, bushy gray eyebrows. Says, "Timberman." Goes, "Good to see you. Good to see you." Goes, "You mind if I inspect the load?"
Wish you would.
Absolutely. I'll
I'd
be
mind
right
if you
back,
didn't.
Shauna. We'll
Oh my God.
entertain our guests for a moment, and I'll be back. Is it locked, or do you have somebody out there?
We have somebody out there.
Okay, good. He leaves the room, comes back. She goes, Shauna looks over at you and says, "Anybody happen to tell you what this timber was for by any chance?"
Nope.
No.
Good. We're trying to keep.
Oh, do Raymar and Brixton still have their drinks?
They do.
Okay, I go to take Brixton's
Okay.
from him.
Okay.
And I look at him and I say, "You should have flavored my rations."
Shauna looks over down at the gnome, looks at you while you take a drink, looks down at the gnome again. She goes, "Inside joke, right?"
It's not really
Yes.
funny.
Why is everyone else laughing?
So, in about 5 minutes, David, you've been outside for maybe about 5, 6, 7 minutes. People have been kind of walking up and down the street, and they've been kind of eyeballing you a little bit. Not necessarily because they can see who you are, but you can tell. Again, this is a small village; they don't get very many
Just curious.
strangers, so they're just trying to figure out what you're up to. Out through the doors of the inn comes an older man walking on a peg leg, wearing military garb. Think you see a rank of a colonel on him. Comes up, looks at you. He goes, "This is the caravan with the timber?"
Yes, it is.
"Donovan Everin, it's a pleasure to meet you." Puts up his hand.
Pleasure to meet you.
"I'd like to inspect the load here before we go ahead and we remit payment. Would you
No
let
problem.
me do that?"
There's one empty, one or doesn't have wood in it. The other 2 do. So
He goes, "It's not quite empty,
well, I'm just
because I can
wondering.
hear through the door something growling in there."
Yeah, I've got a animal companion who happens to be a Wolverine, so he's not the most complacent in the world. Sometimes.
"I think I'll let you deal with that one. I'll just take a look at the front and the third."
Yeah, those that's fine. I just wanted to warn you so you don't open the wrong door.
"Oh, I'm glad you did." He goes, "How in the world did you get a Wolverine?" He opens up the door. You can see him looking in at the timber. Kind of is inspecting one of rods of it. How in the world did you come by a Wolverine animal companion? I thought they were pretty mean.
Well, they are, but I was out scouting in the Raddick area, just in I was in a bunch of scout groups,
You're a scout,
and like I like working alone.
which is why
But
you're with three other guys. He smiles.
well, we just happened to come up together. That's the only thing.
Oh, okay. So you're a scout,
This
military man?
this was before. This was like like 2-3 years before,
Oh, I got it.
and
So
it
you're
was
a scout, military
a
man?
what's that?
Are you a military man?
No, not really. I don't just I just like helping people out, and I like being out in nature.
Oh, good, good.
So, but
You hear him.
but the
He closes the
Wolverine,
door on the first caravan, goes to the third,
Yeah,
opens it up,
tags here pretty soon.
looks at it. This is good wood, he says. You know that there's
Oh,
been a blight, right? He says, you know there's been a blight, right?
not really.
Yeah, he goes, it's tough to come by good timber right now. He goes, but this is good stuff. Thanks. He closes the door. He goes, I'll settle up with your friends inside.
All right.
They took the gnome's tree.
He goes, it was a pleasure to meet you,
Arian.
Area.
Oh,
Pleasure to meet you.
that's
Hey, thanks,
terrible.
Been Vicious. So he leaves the room. He leaves and heads back inside. You guys are all sitting inside. The laughter has just kind of died down from the air from Rainmar. Shauna's a little bit confused at the whole thing, obviously. The door opens up, and the old man comes walking in. He looks over at Shauna. He goes, it's good stuff. He goes, pay the men. Shauna nods. She goes, okay. She goes over to the over a closet in the room. She goes, I think the agreed upon payment was 500 silver, correct?
Are you sure it was 500 silver?
No. Actually, I'm not. Let me look at the manifest.
Let's
She sets up.
confirm.
She goes into the. She's fiddling around inside the closet. She pulls out a piece of paper and looks at it. She goes, "Yep, 500 silver." She hands you the manifest.
If it's on the manifest, it must be right. 500 silver it is.
Yep. She comes out. She has a strong box. She looks like she has a little bit of trouble carrying it, but she puts that down in front of you guys. It's a big metal strong box. It's all there. If you want to count it, go ahead. She goes, but the silver is all in Great Kingdom denomination. She goes, so it should be good.
Okay, I'll give it a rough count at the table while I finish my mead.
Well, you look at the you look through the you open up the top of it, and right away it looks like about 500 silver. So
Okay, good enough.
it's if it's off at all, it's not off by more than 5 or 10.
Well, if it's off at all, they're gonna know because I'll come back.
She looks over at you guys. She goes, well, she goes, it was a pleasure doing business with you. Are you going to? She goes, I'm going to. My father and I have some hired people that we're going to have take the timber out of your carriages.
Okay.
So if you'll just give us maybe a half an hour or an hour, we'll be done, and you can be on your way.
Do they
Do you
want
have-
to buy the carriages?
Do you have any interest in the Never mind. That was what I was gonna say.
Do we have any? Are they for sale?
They are.
Oh. She looks over at her father. What's your price?
Make us an offer.
Well, he said he looked over at him. When I was looking at him, he said they seem to be in good shape. He goes, there's one of them that threw a wheel recently, though, isn't it?
That's true.
He said, yeah. He goes, whoever did the work on it, he goes, that didn't do too bad of a job, but I can tell it threw a wheel. He says, why don't we say, I'm prepared to pay 100 gold crowns for each of them and 75 for the one with the wheel. He looks at the three of you. What say you?
How about the horses?
Horses are for sale, too?
They are.
They are.
laughs. He goes, the horses looked like they were in pretty good shape, too. He goes, how about 25 extra gold crowns for each of them? So that would be, let's see, by my math, he goes 50, 150, 250, 350. That would be 425 gold crowns for the whole lot.
Sounds good.
What say you?
Sounds good.
Deal. Sold.
Excellent, excellent. He looks over at Shauna. He goes, "See, I told you." He goes, "Okay, this was meant to be." Shauna just shakes her head a little bit. She goes over to the dresser again. 425 gold crowns, she says. Pulls out another strong box and puts it out in front of you. Opens it up. She begins to count out the gold crowns in front of you, putting them on the bed. She looks over at you and she says, "Are you? What are you guys planning on doing as soon as you leave town?" She pointed down the coins.
We're looking for work.
You are.
We are.
She looks over at her father. "Why don't you tell me, what was your name again?"
Ranmar.
Rainmar. "Why don't you tell my father what you said about the bandits?" She looks over at her dad. "He encountered bandits on the way here," they said. The guy looks over at you, and says, "Tell me about these bandits, Rainmar."
They were nothing that we couldn't handle.
How many were there?
How many were there? How many arrows did I fire?
Uh, the man just kind of laughs. He goes, "Did you start this journey with 4?"
4 arrows?
"No, 4 men." He goes, "I count
It's-
3 of you in this room and 1 of you outside. Did you start
we
with 4?"
started this journey with 4.
Well, he looks over at Shauna. She goes, "Listen, I want you to do me a favor. In this town, there's a mercenary guild. It's run by a man named Devinder, Corvus Devinder. Go to his mercenary guild and look at the postings that are on the walls. One of the postings you'll see is for a group that's going to be running a merchant train southward. That's us. Take that posting off the wall and give it to Devinder. We want to hire you," she said.
We'll take a look.
She nods. "That's all I can ask." She finishes
Okay, the
counting.
strong boxes.
She finished counting out the money. She goes, "There you are."
And I could put all the gold crowns in the same lockbox with the silver.
You can, but that lockbox
And do
is going to be full, and it's now going to be very heavy.
we have a key to the lockbox?
You have a key to the lockbox.
I'll put that around my neck, and I'm going to give them the key to the lockbox that's in the carriages.
Okay. She says, "Thank
Because
you."
I don't think we need it.
She says, "Maybe you're right after all, Father. This is going to be a good venture." He says, "I hope to be seeing you again soon, all 4 of you.
Likewise.
Please tell your friend outside that Procan bless him."
Okay. Don't know what that means.
Okay. So you guys leave the room with your cash.
No, I call over a waiter or waitress.
One of the young Norms walks up to you. "Yes, sir?"
I need 4 more brandies.
Nods. "Right away, sir." He goes running back.
Preferably with red hair.
He starts working on the taps. He comes back, pushes 4 brandies across the table. He looks over at you. He goes, "You didn't specify whether you wanted our high grade or our low grade. So which did you want?" You go like that. Oh, okay. He comes back. He goes back to the thing. Comes back with 4 brandies. He goes, 4. He goes right over here. He goes, 4 Firelandic ice poppy brandies. He goes, "It's very hard to find." He goes, "It comes from across the ocean."
Thank you.
Okay, so another.
Hang on. I push these over to Brixton.
Uh-huh.
You can drink. If you can handle your drink, you'll have my respect.
Oh! Hey, Brixton. Right now, why don't you tell the party what your constitution is?
Big old 10.
Oh shit. Oh, that's the end of that noise. Okay, so he's gonna be useless for about
Melindra walks up to
the
the
rest
bar
of
and
the
she
night.
just kind of sits there and watches him.
All right. I need two things. I need is there a local banking?
You gonna say that to Melindra?
Yeah, is there local banking?
If you go past the money changers up this way and you turn to the left, she goes, that's going to be where our money changers is. Ask for Tenevra.
Oh, Tenevra?
Tenevra.
Tenevra. That's the banking. And then how far is that from Sunshower Sundries?
Oh, it's not too far. Maybe only maybe a bow shot.
Okay.
She looks over at the gnome. She goes, so. She goes, can the Beholder's Bane handle their drinks? I
This
don't
is
know
gonna be
too
a
much
fun.
about your clan, but impress me. She smiles.
Hey Brixton, you're on your honor with this one. I have to go handle the money. So
So,
I'm gonna head down and I'm gonna head down and secure the coinage at the bank.
well, hold on. First of all, you're going to leave the building. Are you leaving the
Yeah.
building as well, Patrick?
So I'm gonna leave with him. If
Okay.
he downs these right now, then since he's gonna be useless, I'll throw him over my shoulder.
Are you going to down all
Yeah.
4 of them?
Better, I paid for him.
Yeah.
By the way, Patrick, that's 4 gold.
And that's 4 con checks.
Yeah, and that's 4 con checks also. I'm glad that you
Jesus.
brought that up. I need you to roll me 4 20-siders there, Brixton.
Oh my
Got it.
God.
Because you're just going to hammer all 4 of them, I imagine, right?
He has to roll 4 con checks.
Okay.
11.
Okay. That's a fail.
3.
That's a make. Keep going.
3.
That's a make.
Dude, you can barely drink the 4th one. You're missing your face trying to.
19.
And that's a bad fail. Okay, so you guys watch Brixton. He gets there in front of these things. He kind of sizes up all 4 of them. He pounds the first one, and this stuff over here, it's like drinking liquid peat. Okay, it's really thick. It's heavy. Okay, and it's sweet, but it's got a real strong heat to it. Okay, so when you drink it, it kind of has this flavor of like juniper maybe to it. So it's got like a kind of an evergreen taste. You get the first one down, and it hits your bottom of your stomach and feels like it bounces back off the bottom of your stomach right to about here, but you manage to hold it down. You don't chuck that one. You get the second one, you pound it, you're like, okay, I'm on a groove. You handle the next one, good. You get the 4th one, and by the time you get that one down, just like Jeremy said, it's going all over the side of your face, on your shoulders, into your lap. Melindra's laughing at you. This Mary giggle. There's 3 other gnomes behind there that are all laughing at you. She goes, Andy, is he gonna throw up? And I need you to make me another 20.
13.
Yeah, you are. All over your shoes. All the gnomes start cheering as soon as you throw
You're
them
gonna throw him over your shoulder
No, he's walking.
if you can.
up. The whole world is really fuzzy right now. Okay?
It looks like a Wolverine's ass.
In fact, I need you to roll me a 4-sider.
No.
All but one, and I'll let you pick which one of your cantrips that you've memorized for the day are useless right now. Because you're too drunk to cast them.
I can only use 1 cantrip.
1 cantrip today. Because you're so drunk, there's no way you could get it. You could remember. So you're kind of you kind of turn around and look at them. The other gnomes are starting to clean up your vomit, and they're all looking at you. The other gnomes are still the younger gnomes are still cheering. By the way,
I tip my hat and do a bow.
uh huh.
And then eat shit.
Okay, and so you end up. Are you actually going to throw him over your shoulder?
Well, not now that he threw up. I'm just gonna hold him by the back of his
Cloak.
clothing.
Okay, you pick him up by the back of his clothing and hold him, carry him out. So you kind of
Yeah.
hold him like
I
a
like
jack o'
that.
lantern, like you're going trick or treating.
Right. And I just look at Ringmar and go, halflings.
Little folk.
So, David, this is what you see when they all come out of the building. Okay,
Okay.
the first one that comes out is a Grias, and he's holding friggin' Brixton. Brixton looks like he's in bad shape. You're wondering how he got loaded that fast already. Raymar's following him. He looks like he's barely managed to contain laughter. What are
I
you guys going
jumped
to say
on.
to each other?
What is with this? You guys had too much fun in there. What the heck?
They were only gone 15 minutes, too.
Wow. I'm shaking my head.
Okay, so you guys got to catch David up to speed on what happened in there?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna set Brixton next to him.
Brixton,
I'm headed to the bank.
Brixton, you're really far off the ground right now. There's a Wolverine making noises in the middle cart. It's growling.
And it's hungry.
No, it's saying you reek. I can smell you from here.
Okay, so we're going to the bank.
It also realizes if it eats you, it's going to get drunk at the same time.
Yeah, it wants no part of you right now. You're not good meat, right?
He usually doesn't want part of anybody.
So you guys catch David up to speed right now. You guys are not owners of any of the 3 carriages anymore. So, are you guys going to continue to sit on top of them, or how you want to progress?
No, we'll just give him a good once over to make sure we haven't forgotten anything,
No, it looks like you've got everything you need.
and then we'll move on.
David, how are you going to convey Tobias through the city?
Hopefully he's after 2 years of having him, he should be able to figure out, that, not necessarily like a heel, but behave.
You're a ranger, and you don't spend a whole lot of time in villages, but you think might be able, you should be able to manage to keep him under control. The only thing you're worried about is if he sees another animal.
Right.
He might eat somebody's pet.
Jesus. The only thing you're worried about is if he sees anything that's alive, he's probably going
to remember what happened in the last adventure earlier this week about what happened when the Bitey McBiterson almost ate that guy's face.
Yeah.
So, David, you're just going to let him run wild pretty much at your heel?
Wonder.
Is that what I'm to understand here?
Pretty much. Could I ask one of the other guys to go out and maybe get like a haunch of meat for him or 2 on?
You sure could. Or is it somebody going to do that for him?
I don't want to
do it.
Okay, Brixton, you go back inside. Brixton goes back inside. And Melindra kind of looks at him like, welcome back. Are you here for more drink?
I need a haunch of meat.
After what I just saw, you can have this on the house.
Since you probably feel like the house is sitting on you.
She goes, I haven't had a laugh like that in a long time, but I will tell you this. She goes, the Beholder's Bane family name has made a good impression on me. She
it's not my family's name.
Oh, it's not. But what's your clan name? That's why I didn't recognize it.
Oh, it's Kizbala.
Kizba. Kizba. That's a very, very old word. She says, looking at you.
Maybe if we just struck up.
Yeah. Thanks for the meat.
She kind of looks at you like not knowing what to make of you now as soon as you walk out. Okay, so you walk back out with this meat. Immediately, Tobias's eyes light up like a Christmas tree because he was starting to eye up the horses.
So,
That would be a good idea.
you dog.
Are you gonna feed him? Are you gonna be the one to feed him?
No, I hold it away from him.
Okay. It starts to growl at you.
I'll pick it out of his hand and hand it to Tobias.
Okay.
we're gonna get to the bag eventually.
Tobias kind of growls up at you, Matt, and he goes, he goes,
Supply.
he's way smarter than you are. And you put it down, and he starts eating it, tearing into it left and right.
And then I'll just shadow you.
Okay, so you guys begin to go down to the money changers, right?
Yeah. So I have two logistical objectives. One of them is to change and secure the money.
Mm-hmm.
The other is secure lodging for the night, because I'm assuming we're going to stay overnight here.
Okay, excellent.
Now,
I'll keep that.
if we're
in mind
going to do
as we
that,
go.
if we're going to do that through the Mercenaries Guild, that's fine. But anyway, that's our agenda right now.
Okay, awesome. Hey, Hot Sylvan Elf, thanks for following us. We really appreciate it. These motley fools here that you see over here on the screen with me are they'll need all the support that they can get. So you guys go to the money changers as you go down the street. All of you guys are walking a straight line except for Matthew, who's meandering all over the place. Yeah.
In my drunken stupor, can I head off to the lighthouse?
Yeah, you sure can. Okay,
Only one.
Agrias, you notice you're walking down the way and your gnome is wayward and begins to leave towards the south part of the road. You guys are heading north. He turns around and starts walking south. Are you going to stop?
I'll get him.
Do you have any rope?
Agrias, while you're doing that, I need you to roll me a 220s. Or maybe
Would somebody put a bell on him or something?
I got rope.
Agrias, roll me a 20 while you're at it.
Oh, 6.
Agrias, while you're doing that, you get the sensation that you're being watched.
Point in a direction, and I will draw my bow.
Deal. Can I tell? Which direction?
It's over by whatever it is. It's over by the inn. It looks like it's in the shrubs in front of the inn.
Shoot there.
In the inn?
In the
In
shrubs.
the shrubs?
It's in the shrubs.
No, I don't. I mean, okay, I'm not being the one watched or noticing. So
No, I'm going to the money changers, man. I've got tons of money on me right now. I want to get it secured.
Okay, you start going down the street. Agrias, Tobias, and Dave and Arion. What are you guys gonna do?
I'm gonna follow Raymar.
Okay, you follow Raymar. You're ignoring what's watching you. Go ahead.
same here. We gotta get some kind of lodging or whatever. And I really don't want to have Tobias running around loose and possibly having a major
your
issue.
psychopath animal companion, you mean? Okay, so meanwhile, the gnome waddles his way down the road southward. We'll take up here from him just in a moment, but we'll start with you guys going down the road. You guys get down about 100 feet down the road, and you get the impression you're not being watched anymore. So you guys go about 100 feet down the road, and there is a big building there. There's a sign, a stone building. There's a sign out above its door hanging there. It says Mercenary Guild House. Further up down the way, you can see another stone building. It's squat. It's very small. And there's a sign out in front of it that's hanging there. And it's got stacks of gold coins on the sign. So that's where you three are going. Okay, you three are going that way. You end up going down to the door. Open the door.
Yep.
Open the door. Bell goes off. All there is in this building is there's a counter that goes. There's no room to go around the counter. It's like just a dividing stone wall. Behind it is a young half-elven woman, and she kind of regards you coolly as you guys all walk in.
What's her name?
She goes, "Welcome to my my place of business." She goes, "Can I help you?"
Are you Tenevra?
I am Tenevra.
My name is Rainmar. These are my associates. Some gnome we picked up on the side of the road, and Agrias, the Tenebrous hand.
Rainmar, is Elvin on your? Do all three of you guys have Elvin on your character sheets?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, you speak Elvin as well. She says in Elvin back to you. She goes, "Hail and well met, Rainmar."
Hail and well met.
Hail and well met.
She goes, "I haven't had a chance to speak this tongue in a dozen years." She goes, "So you've made my day already, all three of you."
It feels good, doesn't it?
It does. She goes, "Yeah,
Like going home.
it does, absolutely." So why have you come to my house?
I need to secure some funds.
Oh, as in a loan?
As in, I need a safe place to store my monies.
Oh, you'd like our banking services? Well, of course, of course.
Yes.
She goes, "How much would you like to deposit?"
I put the strong box on the table. I take the key up, open it up, and I say 425 gold. And how much silver was it? 500 silver?
500 silver.
425 gold.
Her face stays blank when you say it. She doesn't look like she's impressed by that amount of money, but she looks at it. She goes, "Very well." She goes, "While I count this," she reaches underneath the counter and she pulls out this stone. "Hey, Lord Gasamba, good to see you, man. Thanks for following us."
Why would she say that?
He puts a stone. She puts a stone on the counter. She goes, "All of you that want access to these funds, put your hand on this stone, one in turn. After it stops glowing, you can remove your hand. You put your hand on it, it begins to glow blue, and then it stops." All three of you do it?
Yeah, not the gnome. We're not letting the gnome do that.
Okay.
You might drink it.
She goes, "This stone is what's known as a remembrance stone. Every time you come in here and you wish to withdraw these funds, I'll ask you to put your hand on the remembrance stone. If it glows blue as it did just now, you'll have access to your funds. No one else will have access to these funds.
Understood.
If you wish someone to come back here and you wish them to have access to the funds, for example, if you have a next of kin and you expect to and you wish to will it to them, bring them in here so that they can touch the remembrance stone as well."
Understood. To be clear,
money.
Would you
like any of this money back right now? Do you want it perhaps in something a little bit more portable of a denomination like gemstones?
Yeah, I want 25 gold in a little bit easier to spend.
Well, she says, "Here's the thing. If you want it to be able to spend it very easily, you may want to keep it in gold or in silver. The denomination in this town is we largely live in a silver-based economy because of the Rizians to the north. They deal mostly in silver. So you may want to keep it in silver. However, if you want to keep 25 gold and silver coins," she says, "that's going to be a little bit weighty. So it's up to you what you want to do."
Should make the halfling carry all of it.
What do you? He's a fucking gnome.
No.
What's your? Not that it matters. I mean, he's a little person. What's your? Well, how much silver do you have? What does everybody have on them? I'm trying to figure out finances. So 53. Oh, we have plenty of money.
Hello, Elisterian41. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. These guys are going to need all the support they can get.
We have cash from before.
Okay.
What's that, David?
We have cash from before.
Yeah, we have plenty of money. I'm going to keep 25 gold. We're going to deposit 400 gold and 500 silver.
Okay,
Well,
very
we had one of us had the 60 from the strong box originally.
I know. We're not going to deposit that. We're going to keep that on us.
Okay, got it.
We need some spending money.
In the meantime, while you guys are dealing with the money changer, our gnomish friend has been waddling down the street. You go down to that corner where you saw the sheriff, and you take a left towards this big lighthouse. What it is you see it's part of the city's east gate. It rises up from the gate in a big tower, and at the top of it's this gleaming light, this brilliant white light. But what's interesting about it is it doesn't hurt the eyes at all when you stare at it. Right away, you can tell there's some kind of illusion magic that creates it, because otherwise its brilliance would certainly blind people. I need you to roll me a 20-sider. And what's your intelligence?
17. And I rolled a 15.
Okay. You get this feeling that you're being watched. You're waddling down the east road, kind of. You pass the sheriff's abode, which you can tell because out front of the big sign that says sheriff's. There's a very large building just a little bit further down the way, and it has a sign out in front, and it says, Residents of Tivin Ratner, Mayor of Caverick's Cove.
This is happening with
Across the street from that, there's another building. It looks like maybe a blacksmith's building. And ahead of you, you're walking towards this building. Coming towards you are two figures. They look both of them are armored. They're both carrying battle axes. They're dwarves. It's hard to tell which is male and female because they both have very long beards, pleated, and they kind of talking. They kind of whisper to one another something as they see you come down the way. What are you gonna do?
They're not the ones that I feel watching me, right?
No. Now you get that weird sensation, that creepy feeling like somebody's watching you.
Can I look around?
Yeah, you look around. Make me another 20.
19.
I happen to roll a 20. Over on your left-hand side, near the buildings, one of the shrubs shakes for a second and then stops. You hear whispers inside of it, like arguing. For a second, they stop.
I go investigate.
Yeah, you go walking over there. Last thing the shrub shakes for a second again. You hear this, quiet, he's coming. Stop. You're right in front of the shrub.
Those are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Can I open up the shrub?
You open up the shrub, and sitting behind it are two young gnome girls, probably about maybe 120 and maybe 150 years old.
Okay,
both of
man.
them. They're both wearing dresses. You think you saw them actually in the inn before. They look at you, their eyes are wide.
That fucking Mountain Dew cup gets me, dude. I cannot.
Dude, that's not a cup, all right? The only thing that you couldn't fit in there is all the brandy that Brixton drank. Okay, Brixton, so you're sitting there and you're looking at these two gnomish girls. They're looking at you, they're wide-eyed, neither of them is saying a thing. They look like totally busted look on their faces.
I'm going to close the shrub and continue to the lighthouse.
Before you can close the shrub, you hear a voice behind you. Problems? The two dwarves are standing behind you. They look like they saw you looking in this shrub and are obviously trying to figure out what's going on.
I say, no problems, in Dwarvish.
One of them looks at you, smiles, says, it's obviously female by the tone of her voice. She goes, you know Dwarvish? She goes, very nice. What's your name?
Brixton, Beholder's Bane.
Brixton. I'm Ginny. Ginny Magmaborn. The
I
guy,
kind of sloppily shake her hand.
she goes, "You're really drunk."
I-
The guy next to her, who's obviously her twin brother, kind of grumbles. He mumbles something about gnomes not be able to handle their liquor under his breath. Ignore him, she goes. He's like this all the time. I see you caught yourself you caught yourself a brace of young gnomes.
I guess so.
Fans? He smiles. Or your daughters.
I'm gonna say fans because I just got to town.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're here for merc work, huh?
Yeah.
Understand.
Us too.
Shadow.
Us too.
Got it.
He goes, I'll tell
Are you
you what,
guys-
he goes, we're on our way. We're on our way back to the merc house right now. If you want to catch up later, he goes, I don't think over a couple drinks, maybe over a brace of rabbit stew. She smiled. Maybe
That
we
would be
talk-
delightful. What was their names again? Sorry.
She goes, my name's Ginny. She goes, this over here is Merrick. He just growls kind of.
Yeah, I mean, even that is crazy. Yeah.
I say, well, we'll see you later.
Right. He goes, goodbye, gnome girls trying not to be seen. You hear this, bye, from Shrub. They walk away. The girls, the gnomish, the dwarfish woman's laughing to her brother. Her brother just shakes his head as they keep going down the way. Okay, going back meanwhile to the other guys. The three of you guys, your business at the Money Changers is now concluded. You guys have done your deposit. What are you going to do now?
Sun shower sundries.
Sun showers, sundries. Okay, so you guys, all three of you, begin down the road that way. You guys go past the inn. You notice that some of the drivers, obviously belonging to the Everett are starting to unload the timber. They're starting to take care of their business.
Good.
Shauna's
Okay.
out there in front of it. She sees you guys, waves to you. You guys continue down the way. You take a right at the corner, and right there in front of the big building, sun showers, sundries. Go in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's in there? Talk
Look
to me.
in the building. First of all, the ceiling is kind of low. It was obviously built by gnomes or halflings. Look at those two. Holy moly. Looking at the building, you can see that the ceiling's a little bit low, so it was obviously made for more little folk. There's one halfling woman that's in there. Actually, no, now you see a second one. They look identical. The two women look identical. One of them waves to you. She goes, "Welcome to Sunsour Sundries." Inside the building, you see all kinds of goods. There's like a sled hanging from the ceiling. You see all kinds of bags of wheat over there. You think you see a bag of sugar. There's a whole rack of weapons over there and some armor. You see a brace full of arrows. This whole building is full of all kinds of different goods. The woman walks up to you, gnomish woman. Says, "Hi." She goes, "I'm Marigold Sunshower. What can I do for you?"
Well, to start with, I need a little bit of equipment, and I'm speaking to her entirely using Nim tongue.
Okay.
That I want to get, first of all, some arrows that match the ones that I have on me as
Time
best
for
they
just
can.
a second. She says, Iris, come here. Iris comes over. Say that again, she says to you.
I'd like to get some arrows, if I may.
The one woman looks over to the other. They both start laughing. She goes, "You'll have to excuse me." She goes, "Nim sounds so funny out of a non-gnomish mouth." The women start laughing to each other.
I get two. To be clear, I get 2 attacks per round, right?
You do. Say the full laugh. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that at your expense, sir. So you need arrows." She goes, "Come with me. I'll show you some arrows."
I'm gonna keep speaking Nim because
the other woman,
because
Iris, stays with David and Patrick. Iris kind of kneels down on one knee and starts growling over at Tobias. Tobias is growling back. She's growling a little bit, growls back. Tobias rolls over on its back, and she starts scratching his belly. She goes, "This is the nicest Wolverine I've ever met.
He is.
He's got such a good demeanor and nice temperament." She goes, "Is he domesticated?"
No,
Oh, oh, okay. She looks up at you two. She
I've been
goes, "Can I get you guys anything while your friend's looking for arrows?"
I'll speak to her in Nome as well. Like I'm looking for arrows for my composite longbow.
"Oh, I've got just the thing for you." She goes, "You need extra strings or anything while you're at it?"
That would be good. Extra spares and what have you.
Okay. She fo- she stops scratching him. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out a thing of beef jerky and tosses it to him. He just devours the hell out of it. Okay, so you guys are shopping right now. So I need to know exactly what you're trying to buy. Jeremy,
Yeah.
what are you going to buy?
I want to get 40 arrows,
Okay.
which will match my short bow, and I pull out one of the arrows to measure appropriately.
Yeah, actually, when you say that, she's way ahead of you because, and you can tell that Marigold is actually very good at what she does because she pulls
Okay.
out arrows, different ones, and she's actually holding them up against your quiver to try and match size and things.
Oh, okay. Cool.
She looks at you and she says, "Listen, she goes, do you mind spending a little bit extra money because I have something you might be interested in?"
Sure. Show me.
She takes you around the corner. She goes, "I noticed the length of your arrows." She goes, "It's you seem to like a little bit longer of an arrow than most." She goes, "I got these brought in by a bounty hunter about 2 months ago from up in the mountains." She goes, "These are orcish arrows right here." She hands them. Well, I have to be honest. I'm not sure if they're orcish. They could be made by gnolls too. She looks at the tip. The tips are really wickedly barbed. She goes, "These might interest you if you're interested in really, you want to put a hurt on something."
Um. Okay. Yeah. As long as they fly true.
They'll fly true, but the thing is about these, the reason I brought them up to you is she goes, looks up you up and down. She says, "I saw your armor." She goes, "You're obviously a man of war." Looking at these arrows over here, they're not going to be easily pulled out of your prey.
Understood. Well, I have a few left of my old style arrows, but it wouldn't hurt to have something different as well. So I'll give it a shot.
Okay, so why don't I get you 20 of your normal style, and I'll get you 20 of these humanoid arrows.
Let's make it 40 of the new stuff.
Oh, you want 40 in each?
40 in the new stuff only.
Would you like a new quiver?
You think I need one?
Well, she says she looks at your arrows right now. She goes, "It looks like you have about 20, a little more than 20 right now." She goes, "I think you'd be hard pressed to fit another 40 in there."
Yeah, give me a secondary quiver.
"I'll take care of you right now, sir."
Thank you. Also, I'd like to be able to shoot my older style arrows as signal arrows, or I want them to keep a flame temporarily.
Ooh.
Do you have oil flasks?
"Well, I have oil flasks," she says, "but we have a gentleman in town." She says, "If you go up the way here," she goes, "why don't you talk to Mr. Caverill? He runs over at the blacksmiths. He's got this stuff. I'm not sure what it is, but it sure does burn for a long time."
I'll take a look. Thank you.
Because maybe
Caverill,
you
you
put
said.
your stuff in it. He goes, "I don't mean to lose the sale." He goes, "Obviously," she says, "obviously, but I want to make sure you get what you want."
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Lastly, we're looking for some field rations.
Oh, I've got plenty of those. She goes, you know what you could use? She goes, I don't know if you happen to have a friend of yours that's a mage. But I hear that they have these spells that can flavor rations. If you use that, he goes, it really doesn't matter what quality of them you have. She can just cast them on them and they'll taste good no matter what.
I think we're gonna just look at some of the higher quality rations for flavor for now.
Excellent. I'll make sure that you get what you're looking for.
And then my friend here, the Tenebrous Hand, also has some requests.
Oh, I'm gonna let my sister handle him. She goes, we try and spread out and make sure everybody gets a little bit more personal touch. So Jeremy, you're in total you're getting 4 of the humanoid arrows. And are you buying any oil?
Yeah, give me 3 oil flasks, 40 of the humanoid arrows, and I also wanted to get some kind of binding cord, maybe like 10 feet.
Okay. 10 feet of cord. And you've got a new quiver as well. And did you want some of those iron rations?
Whatever. Is there a
How
grade
many
better than
days
the
of
iron
rations are you
rations?
looking for?
What's that?
How many days worth of rations are you looking for?
2, 4, 6, 8. 8 days.
Okay.
And is there anything better than iron rations?
There's normal rations, but the thing about normal rations is that they spoil after maybe about 2 weeks. Iron
Let's go.
rations are like trail mix and stuff like that you can have almost indefinitely.
Let's go iron.
Okay. I'm going to get to the rest of you here in a second, but we're going to show what's going to happen to Matthew here in a moment. Matthew, you just the dwarves have walked away. You're still standing there in front of the shrub with these 2 gnomish girls in front of you. Are you going to ignore them, or are you going to say something to them?
They work at the inn, right?
Yeah, you think so.
I just say I'll be back, and I carry on towards the lighthouse.
You wear sunglasses when you said that?
Matthew, you go ahead and you start walking towards the lighthouse. You're at the foot of it soon enough. You notice that this gate actually is guarded. It's the only one of the gates there that's guarded. There's two men that are standing there. Both of them have halberds in their hand, armor. They've got bows, but neither one of them really says anything to you. You're inside the thing and you're not bothering anybody, so neither one of them hassles you. There's a door at the bottom of the lighthouse.
And then it's right on the ocean, right?
No, actually, it's in maybe a few hundred feet from the ocean. The road goes out of the gate and goes right to the ocean. You see a dock there with plenty of boats, and there's a big building right there. So what are you gonna do?
Well, I feel a draw to the water right now.
Yes, you do.
So I carry to the water.
Okay. You start going closer to the water. You're going towards the piers, as a matter of fact. There's a couple guys over there that are fishing off the end of the pier. You go over by the end of the pier. There's a boat that's docked there, and there's these 2 massive individuals that are unloading stuff off of this boat into carts. Both of them are muscle bound. One of them is a man, one of them is a woman. They both got bright red hair. They're clearly from the barbarian north, just up the maybe 200 miles north of where you guys are. It's not really uncommon to see them here, but it's not common either to see such people here. Meanwhile, as you get closer to the water, that compulsion, that feeling that you're feeling is just stronger and stronger. Also, make me a 20-sider.
6.
You are instantly sober. As soon as you get out of the gates and get that ocean spray close to you, you're instantly sober. What's your hit point total?
4.
It is now effectively 17.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're getting close to water. Instantly, you get the sensation of motion. You feel it's weird. It's almost like you're like daydreaming as you get close to the water. You kind of sense darkness around you, but it's starting to lighten. It's almost like you're surfacing out of water. What are you gonna do?
Am I like right on the edge?
No, not yet. You're getting close to it.
I keep going towards it.
Okay, you go to the edge of the dock.
Yeah.
The fishermen just kind of look at you. They don't really say anything. They keep casting their things. It's close. This compulsion is close, whatever it is.
I just like dive in. I think. Wait, hold on.
Little late.
Yeah, a little late.
Push head first into the water. Start going downwards in the water. Instantly, you could tell that the shelf here of the where the land meets the water, it drops off very precipitously. It's a lot deeper here than you expected.
Oh,
In the water, cold water immediately hits you. Ocean tides everywhere. It's crazy strong. And you immediately, your first thought is, this was a bad idea. This was a really bad idea. Something is coming up towards you, but above you, you hear something go splash too. You're going downward, and it's starting to get dark for a second, and you feel something grab your chest and start going up, 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 up. And finally, you break up through the water. Ocean wave hits you in the side of the face. You get dragged up onto the rocky shore, and it's the muscle-bound barbarian woman sitting there. She looks down at you with this heavy accent. Are you mad? She goes, don't you know what you just did? That's the ocean. You could drown.
yes.
She blinks a couple times, sits back against a rock. Are you well?
Quite.
Good.
But I need to go back in there.
No, you can't go in there, are you a fool? She goes, were you trying to commit suicide? You weren't even swimming.
I'll swim this time.
If you want to meet your gods, that's up to you, she says, but what's down there for you? Besides a watery doom?
I don't know. But it's going to be great.
You're a mage, aren't you? You stink of magic. And brandy. Shakes her head.
Brandy, yes. I didn't know magic stunk.
She just kind of looks at you.
I want to have a standard.
What you do is up to you, she says, but I just couldn't watch you drown like that.
He just draws down.
What's your
Turn
name?
her away next time.
Just deploys his sword.
What's your name, gnome?
Brixton.
I know I'm going with.
Solveig.
It's just a second.
Beholder's Bane.
Just go.
Put my hand on my sword.
Have you slain one yourself?
Or if I hear
That's a
something,
story for another time.
so shoot.
She kind of cuts back a little bit. She says, why don't you live long enough to tell me that story? Stay away
Are
from
you here? Pardon?
Stay away from the water, little one. She pats you on the back a couple times.
Can I make... I'm going to go back in the water, but I'm going to cast 2 delusion cantrip to make it look like I'm standing on shore.
Okay. You cast 2 delusion. There's your cantrip, by the way, for the day.
Yeah.
It's hanging on there, standing there in front of Solveig, and you dive back in the water. We'll go back to these guys. You guys are over still at the general store. Patrick, you're with Agrias right now, and both him and Arion are with Iris. And she's like, okay, so what can I get for you two?
Oh, I was saying, I was using some of the ideas of him. I'd like to get about 40 arrows, 30 of them that would match this. And if you've got any, possibly about 10 silver tip.
Oh, I have them. She goes, they'll be a little bit more pricey. By the way, you notice that Tobias is rubbing up and down against her ankle as she walks. For some reason, he really likes her.
Good.
Okay, what else are you gonna get?
Oh, I'd like to have like a storage, an oil case for the bow, for like convenient for storage or whatever that I can roll up, put in the pack.
Okay.
And she mentioned, some strings, spare strings for it. Obviously some Wolverine treats and rations that she might find for
She goes,
Tobias
what have
here.
you been feeding him?
Well, whatever was available at the time.
I think I get the gist of it, she says, and she nods. She goes, I'll give you something that
He's also
he'll
fed
like a little bit
himself
better.
very well at times too.
I think I'll get him something that he'll like a little bit better than this.
Okay. You also have a really good sharpening stone and sharpening oil for my sword, please.
Of course. Hey, fairy lady, thanks for following us. Yes, she says, as a matter of fact, we do. She goes, she looks over at you and she looks at your sword. She says, yeah, I think I have just the thing for it. She goes, that's not silver edged, is it?
No,
Okay, good.
no, just a nice, nice well kept sword. I'm
She nods.
pleased with it.
Uh-huh.
That would be
Agrias, what are you gonna get?
I need to get about 40 arrows
Okay.
for my short bow. I show her my arrows and I show her my bow. And I also need to get silver tipped arrows as well.
How many?
About 40.
She says, you're probably going to want a spare quiver with those.
I would greatly appreciate that. I also need.
Says that she looks down at your. She says that she looks down. She goes, that is a very, very rare kind of sword that you have there at your side.
I simply smile and nod.
That sword, as a matter of fact, usually, as far as I know, the only. She stops and she looks at you and she just nods. She gives the traditional nod greeting of the sword of your order. She goes, I had no idea. My apologies.
It is not. It's okay. No problem.
I thought you were all dead.
We are not.
She shakes her head. Our village is safer for your presence.
It's true. You are too kind.
Please, what else can I get for you?
I need.
By the way, Arion, you saw that whole exchange.
Sort of scratching my head, but smiling.
Uh-huh.
I also need.
I don't know if I know anything about it.
No, you don't. But go ahead.
I also
add another quiver in there for me too, because I'm going to need it for.
Okay. What else you got, Patrick?
I also need iron rations.
How many?
I'd like
How
to
many days?
add some seasoning.
How many days do you want?
8, please.
Okay. Anything else?
That is it. Thank you for your help.
She looks over at Jeremy and she goes, Rainmar, she says, Rainmar, will that be all separate bills or would you like that all on one tab?
All on one tab.
Very well. She goes, that will be 20 gold and 15 silver.
Okay, I hand her 20 gold pieces from the 25 I kept from the bank,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll take 16 gold pieces out of my pouch.
Okay. Or silver pieces, you mean?
Excuse me, silver pieces. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have plenty. Yeah, I'm carrying a lot more money than I should be actually. So, yeah, I'll cover the cost of that, no problem.
Okay.
Because we had our money all mixed up anyway, and then there was something else I wanted to get. Oh, I wanted to ask her opinion on the best place to stay for the night. We need to be.
Oh, well, the best place
That's
you could
Wolverine
possibly
friendly.
stay tonight. She goes, looking at you all, like I said, it's clear that you're men of war, but I don't know that you want to stay in the mercenary house. She goes, that's for people who are just kind of laying about. If I were you, considering that you have money to spend, why not stay at the Chuckling Centaur?
Why not?
Is it Wolverine friendly?
It's
There's nowhere in
no,
town that's Wolverine
it's run by
friendly.
gnomes, so I'm assuming it would be.
You leave Logan out of this.
Speaking of kill crazy Canadians, let's go back down to Matthew, who just dove back in the water. Matthew, you're back in the water. You're sinking. What are you gonna do?
Cool.
That sensation of something that was rushing up to you is gone now.
Oh. Oh. Um. Like gone?
Yeah, it was. It looks like maybe it left.
Can I swim?
Yeah, you can try. Are you gonna swim downward or out deeper into the ocean or along the coast? What do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna go out into the ocean a little bit.
Well, I want to remind you of something. You're a gnome, okay? You're not very big,
Yeah.
and so you're very susceptible to the waves.
Yep.
And as they crash over here, you're finding it very, very difficult to make any headway.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just return to shore.
Okay, you return to shore. You return to shore, and the barbarian woman goes. She's looking over at your illusion. She goes, "Well, and that's how we got here." She goes, "My brother and I. It was a long journey, but I think it's for the best." Aren't you going to say anything?
Sorry, she's talking.
Gnome, she says, shaking her hand across your face. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna tap her on the right shoulder as I walk to her left.
She turns around. In a flash, she has a battle axe out. She looks over at you. Wait. She rolls her eyes, sighs. I told you stunk of magic. All of you are the same. She puts her head up, gets up, and starts walking away back towards the boats. Her brother's laughing at her. I told you not to get mixed up with that one so vague.
I asked them where they're staying.
She stops. She goes, the mercenary house. Until we get hired, we've got a job over here at the fishery. Working unloading boats. Working helping the fishmonger. This is my brother Bjorn. Bjorn just kind of waves. What are you gonna do?
Well, I say maybe we'll see you there.
Or maybe I'll just see an illusion of you there, she says. She waves you off and turns around, goes heading back to the boat. Matthew, what are you gonna do now?
I'm sober now, right?
You're dead sober. Sober.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try to find my friends. I feel
Okay.
like it probably wasn't a good idea to leave them.
Okay. By the way, you turn back around. As soon as you do that, you see the two heads of the gnomish girls peek their heads out from the gate. They kind of hide back as soon as you turn around. They're still following you.
He's got like a 25 charisma or what?
No,
No, I'm just
They're little girls.
super.
That's all. 120, 150 years old. They're just little girls. It's okay. You head back towards towards the uh, the middle of town, and as it should happen, as you head back towards the middle of town, you watch these guys just walking out of the general store. All of them are loaded for bear with new equipment. Go ahead. What are you
I
guys
also,
going to say to each other when you see Matthew come walking down
Car-
the avenue?
Carlos. I also, as before I left, I tipped the gal who was loving up my Wolverine. Tipped her a couple silver pieces for
Oh,
help.
thank you, sir. That's very kind of you. You guys are welcome back whenever you
Friend of
want.
mine.
Shakes your Wolverine a little bit. Okay, so you guys are outside the building, and you see Brixton coming up the avenue towards you. Hey, hot high elf. Good to see you. Thanks for following us. What are you gonna do,
Did you
Who's
guys give me anything?
Jeremy?
no?
What are you gonna do first? We'll go down the list. Jeremy.
Yeah. I start by suggesting that maybe Brixton wants to go get whatever equipment he wants at the Sun Shower Sundries, and that we're going to secure lodging at the Chuckling Centaur.
Okay. You gonna do anything, Patrick?
After that, we're going to get the paper thing, the mission.
Okay. I'll wait with Brixton for him to get his equipment.
Okay. David. Ariane.
I'll head with Jeremy.
Okay. Those two start going that way. Brixton, you're with Agrias, your frenemy.
I look down at you and just go, when we get back, you're gonna have to try again.
By the way,
That's,
Agrias, you notice something weird. He is sober as hell and he's wet from head to toe.
You
Also,
want to
there's
fill
two
me in?
young gnomish girls that are trying to spy on him from behind a bush.
You have a fan club now?
Well, one of us is an entertainer, the other's not.
So it would seem. Get your gear.
Okay, so Brixton, what are you gonna get when you're inside of the building?
I'm gonna take a look. If you want to hop over to the other two, I'll
Okay,
get back to you.
Rainmar and Arion, you guys go back to the Chuckling Centaur Inn. When you get there, you notice your horses and your carriages are both gone. They're all gone, I should say. And so the whole front of the area is open. You get into you walk in. When you walk in, there's a guy wearing chainmail with a battle axe that's sitting at the bar drinking. Melindra and the rest of the gnomes are running around in there.
nobody got it.
They greet you as soon as you walk in. Welcome back.
I wasn't in here before, but
No,
thank
she
you.
says that to Jeremy, to Rainmar.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back, she says.
Thank you. We'd like to secure lodging for the evening.
Music to my ears. She goes, do you have any special needs for your room?
For one of the rooms, my friend here has a Wolverine companion who has a tendency to chew on the guests. If we have some kind of a special accommodation for
Wolverines
him
do
and
that.
his creature, and then we need accommodations for 4.
She leans down, she growls at the Wolverine. The Wolverine looks back up at her and growls back. The guy that's sitting at the bar is watching this. She goes, well,
I growl at him.
she looks over and she goes, well, he's not going to promise to be on his best behavior. So
Neither am
my
I.
suggestion is I get you 4 separate rooms.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
She goes, that would be 3 gold a night for each one of you. She goes, and I'll make sure that you guys that comes with breakfast, it comes with complimentary drinks, and it comes with complimentary meals.
Okay. Sounds good.
Excellent. So the guy sitting over there at the bar looks over at you guys. just kind of eyeballing you more than anything. He looks like he's kind of a fighter veteran type. Just kind of watching you guys real close, eyeballing the hell out of you.
I turn to him and just give him a little purple-eyed stare. Says, "Yes, can I help you?"
If you want to take me to bed, you should buy me a drink first.
He looks back at Arion. He says, "What are you?" The
What do
gnomes
you
all
need?
get really quiet behind the bar.
On some fucking hollowed arrow shit. I
Uh,
roll.
no person that, you know, I like to know who's eyeing me up and want to know the purpose behind it.
He looks down at your holy symbol and he says, "You're a lot of contradictions all in one piece."
So people are treating him kind of like,
No,
but he's not actually.
no, I am not a drow.
Then what are you?
Half elf.
The worst fucking nightmare.
You say that?
No.
One person asked me the same question and asked me what kind of demon I was. I said, just not a very benevolent one.
Are you gonna say that to this guy?
With a smile and a grin, put up my hand to shake his hand.
He turns away from you, doesn't even shake it.
If he even moves toward David, I light him up with one of those new barbed arrows I got. I mean, right here.
No, he doesn't move towards David, but he doesn't want David to touch him. He goes, "Stay away from me." He starts drinking. Puts his mug down, looks at you. He goes, "And stay away from the mercenary hall too if you know it's good for you."
Actually, I'm headed there now if you want to accompany us.
You I've got no quarrel with. He goes, "But the half-breed." He points over at him.
Why do I have to not be present for this?
I'm a half-breed too, princess.
He looks over at you. Melindra, listen, if you guys want to do this, do it out in the street. She goes, "I don't want to have to rebuild this place again."
I can.
We're not gonna do anything. Mr. Manners here is gonna sit here, finish his drink, and we're gonna go to the mercenary hall and collect our mission.
Right.
He looks
And
at you.
if I so much as smell you behind me, I'll take a piece out of your face and feed it to the Wolverine.
He goes, "Meet me outside." And walks right past you.
Meet me outside. Meet me outside.
Outside.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
He says, "Meet me outside," and just walks out right past you.
So he
Bumps into
actually
David on the way
he bumps into David.
out.
I just level him right in the back of the head.
Are you going to shoot him in the back?
I grabbed.
Well,
What is he wearing?
He's wearing chainmail armor. He's got a battle axe. He's got a couple bags around his belt. Heavy boots. Jeremy, you do realize this. You're in a village. This is a sheriff. This is a place. It has a sheriff. This is a place of law and order. If you shoot him in the back, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
We can take him. Don't wimp out.
I'll let you think about that for just a second. Meanwhile, back over at the building, in the general store, Patrick, and what are you going to get while you're there, Matthew?
Well, I'd like some leather armor,
Okay.
and then I'd like a small bag of flour. And I pull out my hand crossbow from my cloak and ask if they have anything for this.
Shit. Oh, you're so grumpy.
It's getting violent over there on that side of the screen. You guys are already ready for war over there. She looks at she goes, "I might have something for those, but not many." She says, "I think I have a dozen of those."
Break my Xbox.
Great. Great.
Is that it? I can't believe Patrick resisted the urge to say something like, "What, are you going to bake a cake on the road?" when he got the flour.
No, because if he does, I can just take it from him.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. She charges you 3 gold for it.
Okay.
Okay. Who's going to pay for it? You're going to pay for it yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you lost all your money in that water.
As you guys keep
Well,
walking out of the general store, this is what you see across the way coming out of the inn. This guy is in a fury. Human walks out of there in a fury. Got a battle axe in his hand, chainmail, helmet, heavy boots.
Is he
Hits
walking
the
our
middle of the
direction?
street and he turns around. Jeremy,
Oh,
it's
okay.
your turn.
I'm still in the building.
You're still in the building. You held your fire,
I asked the
knowing that you would have gotten thrown in jail forever for doing that.
I asked the barmaid if there's another exit.
She goes back through the kitchen.
Lead the way.
She starts
Did
looking through the way. Ariane, what are you doing?
did Jeremy and them and fill me in on the little tag that we're supposed to bring back for our job?
No, not yet, I don't think.
Okay.
So you two are starting
That's
to walk.
where.
You two are starting to walk back through the kitchen. Are you going to follow him, Ariane?
Might as well.
Okay, you and
That's where I'm headed.
you and
I'm
the
headed to
Wolverine are
fulfill the
following.
job.
Wolverine starts growling as you guys walk past the stew pot. You guys walk out. She opens the door out into the back of the place.
Which way to the mercenary hall?
She goes that way and then take a hard left. She goes, but if you go there, she goes, that guy is standing out in the middle of the street will probably see you.
Yeah, that happens.
Okay, well, good luck.
Okay.
I'll keep your rooms warm for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you guys are out in the back. Patrick, you and Arion and Agrias and Brixton, I assume, are going to head towards the inn, not knowing what's going on this whole time. So you guys
Well,
are
how far away are we
from this guy. You're probably
from
about
this
50,
guy in the building?
you're
one
probably
close
about
shot.
50 feet from the guy and probably about 100 from the building.
Okay, depends on what the guy does. If he sees
Yeah.
wildlife,
Well, you guys don't really know anything's
Arion,
going down yet. All you know is that this guy looks pissed off for some reason. So, Jeremy, you guys are going to head towards a mercenary guild. I'm going to roll and see if he notices you. Oh, that 2, yeah. So, Jeremy, you, Rainmar, you and Arion walk in the middle of the street out from behind the place. You're about 100 feet from the guy. He looks up at you. He says, "Ha!" He goes, not only are you a half-breed, you're a coward. You won't even fight me.
Okay, do I hear that?
You guys both hear that, and you're behind him by about maybe 30 feet when he says that, because you're walking out of the other building.
Okay, Brixton, I'm gonna need your help hiding this body.
I pull out my hand crossbow.
You killed the DM. You killed the DM. You get 6 million experience points if you kill the DM.
You got me there, buddy. You got me there.
Okay,
Oh,
look at
boy.
you. Are
Back
you
in college,
sober?
as an aside, back in college when we used to play, I used to make players write down classic quotes that they would use, and we had this big book after we were done. That would be a write that down moment. Okay, so Brixton, I'm gonna need your help hiding this body. What then did you do?
Okay, Brixton, are you sober?
I pull out my hand crossbow and I point it at the guy.
Uh-huh. He doesn't answer. He just points a hand crossbow at the guy.
Oh, okay, that's not what I was going for, but I pull out my bow and I shoot with you.
Jeremy, you and Arion are looking at this guy he's holding his battle axe above his head. He goes, "You won't, cowards, you won't even fight me." Meanwhile, because of where you're standing, you can see these guys right behind him. getting ready to lay waste to him. What are you gonna do?
I tell them to stop. I wave for my boys to stop. Do not fucking kill this drunken asshole.
Right.
You wave your arms like this. He looks at you. He turns around and sees these guys both like this. There's like 2 arrows in his face. He stops. He just stops dead, doesn't say a thing.
I walk up to him. I know you don't want to talk to me, but I promised the sheriff on good terms that I'm not going to start any problem. I have no beef with you at all.
And I made no such promise.
He looks at you. This is over. He shakes his head. He just walks away.
Well, it almost was.
He walks away.
We've got a trigger-happy gnome.
He goes, "You won't see me again."
Brixton, tackle him and I'll beat him up. Run at him, get him by his legs, knock him over, and then I'll straddle him and just beat him into the ground.
Don't do it. Can we go get the mission?
Brixton, are you going to do that?
No. No, I drop my hand crossbow and it goes back into my cloak.
Right. You guys see that little sleight of hand thing? He drops his hand crossbow. It looks like it's attached to his wrist like by a cord or something. It pops back into his cloak.
That's really neat. I'm headed over to get the mission from the Mercenaries Guild.
Let's
Okay.
go.
You guys can do fucking card tricks all day long if that's what you want to do. Jesus Christ.
Agrias and Brixton, are you going to join them?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I put my bow back.
Okay, you guys
And
all
give
get
that guy a
back
full
together
glare.
again. That's a pretty cool moment, actually. You guys all reunite, go up the street a little bit, and then on the left-hand side is that mercenary hall. You walk in through this, got big arched double doors. Inside the mercenary hall, there are no walls at all. All there are around the entire inner shell of the building, there are these boards to which parchment are attached to it. In the middle of the room, you see boards sticking up out of the ground, which pieces of parchment are attached to them. There's about 5 people just kind of milling around looking at all these pieces of paper.
All right, we're looking for the one specifically the train headed south mission.
Okay, so you guys are looking around at the different things on the board, seeing what's there, seeing what's not there, etc. It takes you a little bit of time to find it, but soon enough, what you end up finding is this. There is a board that reads the following: Stand by.
Just stand by.
No.
Okay.
No. There's always a comedian. I was going to read you the exact thing, and then of course I crashed. So okay, it reads: Wanted. Individuals willing. Excuse me. Sorry. Individuals needed to escort a wagon caravan. Yeah, come on.
That is the one.
Yeah, it says war. It says there we go. There we go. Sorry about that, fellas. Individuals needed to escort a wagon caravan southward along the coastal road. Positions required for this endeavor include, but are not limited to, carpenters, drivers, general laborers, guards, hunters, and wainwrights. No experience necessary. Food and drink will be provided by the expedition leader. All equipment must be furnished at the expense of the applicant. Pay purses will consist of 5 silver pennies per day of duty. Should the caravan come under attack, pay will be doubled for each day the expedition is successfully defended. Interested parties should make themselves known to either Corvus Devinder at the Guildhouse of Mercenaries, Retlin Garvin at the Iron Shod Wheel, or Melinda Brambleberry at the Chuckling Centaur Inn.
Well, we were told to deliver the paper to Corvus Devinder, so that's what we're going to do.
Okay. So you pull down the paper. And in the middle of the building, it's really not hard to find Corvus Devinder, because the guild master of the mercenaries is probably about 6'6", about 270 of pure muscle. He's kind of bald
You
painted,
look like
got a shave. All he's got is a dark black beard, and he's just kind of wandering around, just looking at all the different mercenaries. Kind of eyes you guys up as you're approaching him. Looks at you.
you look like a
Something you
raven
like,
or a
boys?
crow.
Huh?
Does he look like a raven or a crow?
No, no. Find
Oh,
something
the
you
same
like,
corner.
boys?
What's that?
Says, do you find something you like, boys?
Yeah, I'll hand him the slip of paper. We were thinking about this one.
He looks at it. He goes, all right. He goes, this one, he says, no experience necessary. He goes, all I have to do is vet you. He goes, where are you boys from?
All over, really.
All over? Nods. Says, any outstanding constabulary issues? Any of you?
No, it's early today. It's early yet.
Good, good. Sounds good. Says, skills. Looks over at you.
Almost none.
Can you fight?
I'm okay with a sword. I'm okay with a bow.
Looks over at Agrias. Skills?
I can hold my own.
Fighter.
Looks over at Arion. Skills? My
Uh,
God, he takes us half a step back. Goes, man, pull your hood down. He goes,
I get that all the time.
someone's gonna run you through with arrows in this town if you don't keep that hood down.
I know I can't stand it, but I can't help it.
He shakes his head. It's a tough break. Skills?
I can drive a team. And I've got
Good.
I got wood skills and do a little bit of clerical work.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I forgot. You know how to fix a wheel, and
good.
I had the mapping skill last time.
Skills?
Yeah, but they don't
He
need.
looks over at Brixton.
He knows how to get drunk.
Well, do you have all day? Because I can tell you everything I can do.
Oh, we've got a live one here.
Not for long.
He shakes it. My thoughts exactly. Well, on the strength of your buddies, he goes, I think I'll hire you anyway.
Switch.
Maybe yeah.
Signs it down. Puts it down. Says, all right. He says, I've vetted you. He goes, do you need a place to stay? You're going to need to stay in the mercenary house?
I think we're staying at the.
Staying at the inn?
We've got a place secured at the was it the
Chuckling Centaur. Was awful pricey.
Wherever it was that we were just out of, I can't remember now.
He goes, Chuckling Centaur. He goes, that's pretty pricey. He goes, I'm impressed that you can afford it. Signs off the bottom page and hands it back to you. He goes, but that's actually where you need to go. He goes, the people that are hiring you actually are staying at the Chuckling Centaur. Talk to Melinda Brambleberry there at the, she owns the Centaur. She'll be able to put you in touch with your clients.
Will do. Thank you.
He sure? He goes, are you sure you don't need to stay? And are you sure you don't need a place to stay?
We're not part of the common rabble.
Okay. He nods. Huh. All right. He goes, all right, that'll be 20 gold.
For what?
Guild dues. He says that's part of being a mercenary. He goes, by paying us this 20 gold, you're going to be part of the guild. He goes, you can take jobs whenever you want. As long as you're a guild member in good standing.
Okay, here's the 20 gold.
He takes it. He goes, excellent. He goes, you have my endorsement? He takes out a little piece of little small thing out of his pouch. He puts his finger on it, his thumb on it, and puts a thumbprint on your paper. He goes, okay. Cool. He goes, it's official now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, he says, and be sure to come back. He goes, if something should happen to this job or you need a new one, or remember, now that you're part of the guild, if you happen to have something go wrong, like, for example, you're mistreated or you're not getting the kind of money that you're expecting from this mission, he goes, you have recourse here at the guild. He goes, you can contact us, and we'll act as intermediaries between you and the client. Make sure you get paid.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
So,
Remember
gentlemen,
what I said about that cloak.
Oh yeah, I know. I try. That's why it's a little bit longer in the hood than normal.
Right.
I'm going to head over to the Caverall blacksmith.
Okay.
Are
you guys all following him?
Yes.
Yeah, are Ginny and Merrick in the hall?
Yeah, they said they were.
You're looking for your fan base?
Do I see them?
Nope. No, they're not. They're not
Okay.
actually in the guild. This is the guild house. The guild hall is where all the mercenaries stay in town. It's like a flop house for mercenaries.
I understand.
Yeah.
I follow Rainmar.
Okay. Rainmar, you go. And, you guys all end up at the at this place. It's a building. You've already passed it once before, Brixton. Out in front of it, there is a sign that has a wheel on it, and it says above it, the Iron Shod Wheel.
I'm looking for Caverall.
You walk in. The whole front of the place, it's built like there is no front wall of it. It's all open air. And there's a guy working over a forge. He's got one arm. He's kind of beating on a piece of metal. He kind of looks over at you, smiles, kind of missing a tooth, smiles up at you and goes, what can I do for you folks?
Well, the Sunshower girls over at Sunshower Sundry said you might have a material that you can use for my arrows to make them burn longer.
Huh. They talk a lot, he says. Those two.
It would seem.
Yeah, come with me. Let me show you something. He has this paste. He kind of rubs it on a piece of metal. He puts it over the fire. It explodes up into a huge tongue of fire and just stays burning. He goes, I call it white pitch. He goes, they mine it not too far from here. He goes, it burns like you can't believe.
I see that.
He goes, it sticks to things pretty well, too, he says. So, kind of wipes it off on the side of his forge. Eventually, it burns out. He goes, I don't know what you plan on hunting, but I'm guessing it starts with an O and ends with an orc, if you're going to be using this. Yeah?
You never know what you can come across out there.
This is what you want, he says, but it's not cheap.
How much for how much?
Well, he goes, I can give you a vial that would be good for about 10 applications of it. He goes, but it's 3 gold.
Give me 2.
Give me 3 vials.
Very well.
I'll take 4.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, you got 4 of them? That's 12 gold. David, you have 3, you said?
Sure, why not 3?
I might need to borrow some money.
That's 9 gold. Jeremy, how many you want? 2?
Yeah, sure.
You want any of them, Patrick?
I'll just take 3.
9.
9. You want 9 of them?
I'll just take 5.
5.
What is this called again?
White pitch, he calls it. Although you would probably know it better as phosphorus.
Ah, okay.
He says, would you guys all be buying that together, or would you like that separately?
I'll buy mine separate. That way we can keep funds.
Okay, that's 15 for you. Or no, I'm sorry, that's 9 for you. He goes, and that's you two are going to be together then, or are you going to be separate?
Separate.
Separate.
Okay, that's 15 for you with the hood. And that would be 6 for you, Rainmar. And that's 12 for you, he looks at the gnome.
I want to take 3.
Okay. Well, that'll be 9 then. Well, very well, he goes, it's been a good day for me. He says, come again if you need any more.
Will do. Thank you. Thank you.
Also, if you happen to need, I do the blacksmithing. I'm the Wainwright here in town. If you need anything repaired or fabricated, come to me.
Appreciated. Okay, I'm gonna head back to the Chuckling Centaur with the contract.
Okay, so you go. All three of you guys go. All four of you go back to the Chuckling Centaur. The girls are there. The girls that were following Brixton the whole time are in there now. Everybody in there comes up to the bar. All the gnomes. Well, what happened? Melinda is the only example. She's like, children, please. They let the men conduct their own affairs.
It was amazing.
The two girls get up to the counter. As soon as you say that, their eyes are like saucers listening to you.
There he was, outside of the tavern. Me and the tenebrous hand snuck up behind him. Rainmar decided to hold fast as Arian de-escalated the situation.
And then?
That's a story for another time.
Oh, everybody. Oh. Melindra kind of looks over at you. She goes, this place could use a talented bard, a storyteller. I couldn't help but notice the guitar over your shoulder and you telling stories. Perhaps together the two could put on a show for our patrons at night. If you guys did that, I'd be willing to waive the cost for the room.
Do you hear that, Rainmar?
I did, and I think it's a wonderful idea if you're comfortable with it.
I'm usually on stage, so.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Children, why don't you see these boys to their rooms? So they start leading you down to the hallway. As it should turn out, all of your rooms are all kind of around that room 3 where the Everins are staying. The ones that lead you guys to your room, the rooms are all big. They're very comfortable. The beds are actually stuffed with goose down. They've got hand-sewed quilts. It's very, very nice. They've got all wood furniture in there. Brixton, as you get led into yours by the two girls, they look at you and they say, I know you caught us, and we're really sorry, but we just had to follow you around town. Our aunt won't let us do anything. It's so boring here. We just want to be adventurers like you. I mean, we saw the way that you fought outside, where you were gonna fight outside, and the way you dove into that water. I mean, you're a man of action. We want to be just like you.
Brixton, here's your chance.
Can you maybe, I don't know, when you leave town, can we come with you?
Well, we'll have to see. I think I'll be around here for a while, though.
Okay. Well, don't leave until you tell us.
No.
I'm Brixton.
We know.
Beholder's Bay.
We know. Yeah. I'm Sunny, and this is Lily. Hi. Okay. Well, we'll leave you alone. But if you need anything, like you want more ale or more brandy or anything, just let us know.
I appreciate it.
They leave. Okay. Is there anything else you guys would like to accomplish before the end of the evening?
Yeah, I want to hand in the contract with the thumbprint on it.
Who's going to go with Rainmar to the to Everin's room? All of you? Ariane, are you going to? Okay.
Sure.
All of you knock on the door. She opens a doorway, looks at you. Oh, you're back.
With the contract, thumbprinted.
Excellent, she says. Father, come here. Donovan comes up to the doorway. Shauna's there, and she's like, this is good news. This is very good news. He goes, I want you to know you're the first people that we've had respond to this. in a town where supposedly it's very easy to find mercenaries, because it's been difficult to find people that want to trek the South Road. Got a bad reputation. So I want to know.
You want a gnome?
No, well, we've already got one of those. He smiles. He says, no, what I want to know is, all of you, since you're the first people that responded to this, would you be willing to help us recruit more mercenaries in town for the trip?
Don't ask me.
I know a few.
That's perfect.
If we were to do that, I might ask for a slight increase in the daily pay.
That would be fine. He goes,
Okay.
what I would do if you were to accept that commission is I would put you in charge. Well, let me explain a little bit more about this. After you are all done, after we're all done recruiting people, I'm going to go back up north to Marner. I'm old. I'm not fit for this trip. My daughter Shauna is actually going to be in charge of it. However, we have a, what would you call her, Shauna? She looks over at him. Scholar, I suppose, a sage. The sage is in charge of the true part of this operation. You would be in second in command only to her. It would be up to you to put together this team of adventurers and guards and skilled people, with people you trust and people that you think you can get the job, that we can get the job done with.
Okay.
Of course, with that would come a rise in pay. I'd double your pay.
Is in order to do this effectively, I'll need to send letters out from town. Do you have a courier that you trust?
I don't, but the sheriff assured me that there's a courier in town that's trustworthy. We can talk to him.
Okay.
Looks over at the rest of you. He says, this is a good day. He goes, I'm looking right now, he says, at the 4 men who are going to help make part of the entire history of this world become evident. We have a lot to talk about, all of us, before we start assembling people, because I think it's time that all of you knew exactly what was meant by this voyage and the mission that we call Procan's Eye. He looks at you and smiles. He goes, it will be glorious. And that's where we're going to stop for the evening, guys.
All right.
What'd you guys think? Did you have fun?
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's.
I want to put an arrow in the back of that guy's head, though.
Yeah.
I know you did. I
I
can't
drew my bow
believe,
faster than you.
I cannot believe that the voice of reason in this was Jeremy. I cannot believe it.
You know, MVP over here.
Jeremy has made a reputation for himself at my games across America in different conventions
He's
as
very
being the
chaotic.
stone cold killer. So the fact that he was the voice of reason is, everybody out there in Twitch land should be shocked that knows about his past. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign off from Twitch, everyone. We're going to disconnect for the evening. We're going to be back in 2 weeks again with the next part of the campaign, the first Betrayal, in which the whole scope of the mission and what Procan's Eye's goal truly is will become evident, as well as our heroes will begin to recruit the members of their team that they expect to complete the mission with. So everybody out there that tuned in tonight, thank you very much for joining us, and stay tuned for 2 weeks from now. It's going to be great, just like tonight was. Thanks, everyone. Everybody here in the group, stick around for just a second. Once we go live, we'll have some. We'll talk.